welcome to Real Estate Investor Talk. I'm Neil Peterson, founder of Real Estate Investor, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Andrew Thompson, head broker of eXp Realty South Africa, which is the largest producing residential real estate brokerage in North America. And eXp Global is also the fastest growing network of real estate professionals, creating an international footprint of realtors. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Andrew and eXp, and also as a component of the future of real estate. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks very much, Neil, and thank you for the collaboration opportunity. And as always, love doing business with you. And what a pleasure to be on Investor Talk today. Much appreciated.
Awesome, man. Thanks very much, Andrew. And so, Andrew, maybe just share a little bit about your background and what led you to embark on your journey with eXp South Africa.
You know, Neil, if I talk personally about myself, I was 19 years in the hotel business, and 19 years in the hotel business, starting out making beds and being a trainee in the hotels, cooking eggs and bacon in the morning, and eventually ended up participating as a regional manager for 31 hotels across Southern Africa, between Zimbabwe, Botswana, and South Africa. So there was always a value add in my experience, and I was very thankful about the hotel business because it really laid out sales, marketing, operations, a bit of financial experience, and how to run a business. So really enjoyed that element. I lasted about 5 days in real estate, I'll be quite honest with you. You probably know that. And I joined a company here in Umhlanga. I think I got 8 sole mandates in 5 days. Bit of tongue in cheek, but what actually happened then was the Eland Property Group was looking at extensive developments along the north coast, one of them being Simbiti Eco Estate, and obviously they were looking at that particular time in terms of a sales manager, someone a little bit different in terms of the ability to sell and market the properties. They had 2,000 housing opportunities on one estate to sell. And funny enough, I got involved, and we had the ability through real estate professionals, all the different real estate companies outside of the estate. And you were very helpful in that regard as well to promote. And that estate, Simbiti Eco Estate, became the fastest selling gated community, I think, ever in South Africa from a family perspective. So we sold out literally 2,000 land sale opportunities in a period of 9.5 years. And I think that was a phenomenal feat. But that was my foot in the door with real estate, because my sort of role was to train, coach, educate all the people that were in real estate around the developments, and brought them into the developments and created stunning relationships with people that were quite junior in the industry, really good producing agents, but also the big players in terms of the big real estate professionals, those big family businesses locally here in South Africa. And those relationships have continued since then. I ran a small Keller Williams franchise in Umhlanga for around about 15 months, got that to 51 agents. And then all of a sudden, I heard that eXp was arriving in South Africa, and I knew nothing of the company other than it was a tech enabling company that was extremely forward thinking, and possibly the best compensation model in the world. And what I wanted to do was to research it and check it out. And I very quickly made a decision. I wanted to be a part of this family and a part of this community. And we've just been on a trajectory that is absolutely unbelievable. And I think you know me very well. I love selling destinations. I love South Africa. And most of all, I fall in love with people in terms of the ability to serve people and to deliver to people. And my customer at the end of the day, through my 15 leadership team, is our very own real estate team as it stands. So we had 1,250 agents across the country, and that's been achieved in literally 3 years. And very proud of it. And I believe we're the fastest growing real estate company in Africa at the present moment. And just to finish off on that, we've come down from the 6,000th largest real estate company in South Africa 3 years ago, and I believe we're now at number 7 in terms of agent count. So well, quite
congratulations. Phenomenal. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And I think in that short amount of time, so well done on that, Andrew. So maybe tell us a little bit about how does eXp differentiate itself from other realtors in the market? I mean, what are the unique sort of value proposition or services that you offer?
Neil, I think it goes back to Glenn Sanford. He started the company back in 2009 in the USA, started with 35 agents, built it to 462 agents by 2015. Funny enough, between 2015 and 2017, he grew it to 6,000 agents by 2017, and then listed on the NASDAQ and have these shares under eXp World Holdings called eXpI shares. And I think that was initially the trump card, because what actually happened was he saw the opportunity to stop spending big money on bricks and mortar, went into a virtual environment. So we are a cloud-based office environment. We got all the tools, all the technology, and I really believe a lot of our technology is internally built, and we are very agile, we're very quick. We've got the ability to install, implement, and come with tools and technology that really benefit the agent at the end of the day. So if you can picture a person working from wherever you want in the world, if you've got a good computer, you've got a good Wi-Fi connection, it gives you the freedom to operate from wherever you are in the world, number one. Number two, the tools and technology, very easy to use, very simple to use, but extremely forward-thinking in terms of wealth creation for an individual agent. Just remember, we're not spending money on bricks and mortar. We're not spending money on receptionists and switchboard operators and photostat machines. And the agent isn't spending money on having to go in and out of work every single day. And you're working in an environment where you probably got 3 to 4 more hours in a day to go out and do more sales and go out and do more procurement rentals. Be your own brand, be entrepreneurial, and be your own business. But the differentiator for me comes in the form of compensation. And the mistake that many agents looking in at eXp make is they only compare commission with commission. And where you've got to look at our model is we really pay good commissions. At the end of the day, you either earn 71% commission or 96% commission. But there's a growth factor as well. So if you are an influential person or a good producing agent, you naturally magnate people towards you through your very own success. And it's through your own success that you've got the ability to grow a network, what we call revenue share. And it's a bonus structure. At the end of every single month, you get paid, and the company says, thank you for growing the company. And that's where we get our momentum. So then all of a sudden, you get equity awards and incentives in the form of eXpI shares. Other companies do not offer that. And Glenn Sanford literally turned the company on its head and said, okay, let's create an environment where the agent becomes the CEO of the business, is the decision maker, the king and queen in our business, and we have the ability to offer shares, a shareholding opportunity within our company. And you start building an asset for yourself in the form of these eXpI shares. And I can guarantee you there's not one company in South Africa in the fourth way of earning where third-party incomes are passed 100% on to the individual agent. So for instance, with bond originators, with banks, with relocation specialists, the individuals or the entities that are offering third-party incomes in the form of fees and commissions, normally the principal of the agency or the agency itself would retain 50 to 60% of that income and pass on 40 to 50% of the income, even a little bit less, to the individual agent. And we have the ability to pass that on 100% to the agent. So the contracting and the relationship is with the conveyancer, the conveyancer, the bank, the bond originator, and then those standard sort of relationships with the developer, the investor, the seller, and the buyer. And I really believe this model has just come together so nicely, not only for individuals, but for team structures that are struggling locally. They might be struggling with pipeline of sales, especially pre-election, okay? And large companies, the big family brands, effectively, they could be that big family brand powered by a technology company like eXp and be their own brand powered by eXp. So I just really believe family, community, and it gives you a lot of freedom. Thank you.
No, wonderful. So, so that seems like an excellent model for the agents, which you need very, very motivated agents. So let's talk about the other side, which is obviously the clients on the other side. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about all your services. I mean, it's buy, sell, rent. You mentioned procurement of rentals. So maybe just touch on some of the services. And then secondly, in terms of the market out there, because very competitive, a lot of players out there. How does eXp on the ground look after and become competitive on the ground to the typical home buyer or the seller? And what are the things that you're doing that's maybe without giving away your sort of secret sauce that you're doing that's slightly different compared to the rest?
Sure. So just go back to the first question, if you don't mind, Neil. Just
So
understand
in
the
terms of
market
your
side of things.
services, so just in terms of
Okay,
just reiterate a little bit more on your services. You know,
sure,
obviously it's buying, it's selling properties, and the rental component. I know it's not a big part of it, but maybe you can just elaborate.
sure.
But what other services are there? And then
Yeah,
certainly, how do you actually deliver that to the market and almost make yourself very different from the rest of the guys?
sure. So, Neil, with regards to, we do any form of property sales. So from commercial, retail, residential, development land, development stock, the full array, anything with a title deed, that is our game in terms of sales. Okay, that's the first thing. The second part of it is we do procurement rentals. We only want to deal with placements. And we as a company, we do not want to get involved in managed rentals. And the reason behind that is we don't want the litigation. We don't want the headaches, and we don't want the management of those contracts on a month-to-month basis. Our effort goes into growth and looking after the agent. And if we can do that and do that successfully, you'll have a growing community of agents that can service the needs of the individual seller, buyer, and the market that we go after. Just in terms of the tools and the technology, I think we equip our agents extremely well. What is happening in South Africa, we are attracting the top agents across South Africa into our organization due to the compensation model that is available to those agents. And then what happens is those agents effectively start collaborating, training, educating, coaching, and working with the other agents to ensure that the quality of delivery to the end user is of a different level of deliverables on a day-to-day basis. I think in every single deal, you know, as long as you're attracting good people, happy people, energized people, that is what you want in organizations. So, you know, the agency on the corner down the road, to the big family businesses that I mentioned earlier, to the international operators that are the franchises and the big franchisors around the world, everyone brings in the best possible agents that you can find. And we are attracting the cream of the crop, and it's now spreading a good word, not only across South Africa, but internally amongst our very own agent team. And what you are finding is agents that have had an experience with other companies that have joined eXp, they're doing more production through eXp than they've done through their historic companies because of our lead generation manner and the way that we do operate on a day-to-day basis. But I do want to reiterate the whole idea of the way eXp treats you in terms of a happy and a good agent attracts another happy, good, and great agent. And a good, successful entrepreneur attracts another good and successful entrepreneur. And it's through that momentum of learnings and growth that we're creating good credibility out in the market. And then obviously we've got to deal with an emerging market of agents that are coming out the schools and the universities, etc., that need mentorship and a mentee program, which we do off our internal platforms through our eXp University. So for me, the differentiator is training, coaching, education, and very much success coaching through our agent development managers that we've got here locally in South Africa.
Wonderful. Okay, so what are the trends or developments that you're seeing in the South African real estate market in the coming years? I mean, we've just had an election. We're going to have a government of national unity, and you know everything's all upbeat. We've seen the rand recover very nicely. So how do you anticipate the changes coming in the property market, and how do you anticipate your business eXp adapting to that?
Neil, I spoke on Radio 702 the other day at 10 to 5 in the morning on the
Sure,
very
there's
early
an early
breakfast
shift.
show. I don't
Wow.
think they had anyone else to fill the slot, so they got me in there. Anyway, I think what I learned from some of my previous businesses was when you see a shifting market coming, and elections was obviously a signal. So we started chatting to our agent team middle of last year because August, September, October, November last year, 2023, were really tough months. But we started talking to our agents June and July. Double up in terms of your seller inquiries. Make sure you got your more listings than you ever have had before. Because with listings, and if you own the stock, you effectively own the market. And what was important was we started 2024 with over 8,000 listings on our book. And I think that was a very proud moment amongst our 1,000-odd agents that we had at the present time. Okay. So what it transformed into is the 5 best months that we've had as eXp Realty here in South Africa, being the first 5 months of this particular year. We are the largest listing company in the Western Cape at the present moment. We are the largest in the Eastern Cape. And because of our presence of agents in that particular area, we number 3 in Gauteng, we number 2 in KwaZulu-Natal in terms of listings. And in every single village, town, province in South Africa, we've come down from like number 50 down to number 16, 15, and we're starting to dominate in the places where we're starting to attract agents of good caliber within those particular areas. So I was very concerned about the startup to this year. But I mean, if you look back at 2023, we wrote some 3.6 billion rands worth of sales volume during 2023. And we expect to closely double that during this particular year in terms of sales volume. So we'll be hitting around about the 6 billion rand mark for this particular year. And with a 5 to 6 month good start at the beginning of this year, I don't think the trend is going to change. We're in an upward trajectory. We're on a good financial pattern. And I would also like to just mention, Neil, how clever this model was put together. We've got a head office structure. There are 16 of us in our head office structure, servicing 1,250 agents. By the end of this year, we plan to be at 2,000 agents. By the end of next year, we plan to be at 4,000 agents. And our head office structure might bulge to 25 individuals, leadership team servicing a community of agents of that sort of level. Okay. And with that, you have a good agent team extending into doing listings, getting into production, and our service, agent-centric, agent-focused. And if we can look after our agent team through great technology, incredible tools, and the ability to leverage the business going forward, it's a great company to be a part of.
Wonderful. So, Andrew, can you share, maybe are there any specific resources or sources of information that you rely on? I mean, I've seen you guys playing in the metaverse as well, and you've got a meeting place. Do you want to share some of those resources that you have?
Yeah, so, we regard our sort of technology as a one-stop shop. We got what we call Okta, which is literally your key into our organization. It's an email address, literally, where you can open up into an agent center. Within your agent center, all your applications sit within that agent center. So if you want to find something that is creative around marketing, if you want to work out your bonus structure with regards to my eXp, or you want to look at your shares that you own, it's all held within one platform. And all these platforms or these applications that we've created as tiles within your agent center are designed very much by our own tech team as such. So for me, this virtual world that we operate in, you've got the ability to go in there and meet with a technician. You don't have to go down to the store down the road with your briefcase, with your computer to say, I've got a virus issue with my computer. We just go straight into our virtual environment. And at the moment, an American guy comes and sits in front of you, guy or girl, and they say, okay, how can I help you? And it's a friendly environment, very helpful. And literally what could take 4 or 5 hours and a cost of going to a shop is now costing you literally 15 seconds to 30 seconds in a virtual environment, an office environment where you can interact with people as your own avatar, your own designed avatar on a day-to-day basis. And it's an incredible environment to operate in. I think what is important in these environments, Neil, is we meet in there every single day. My entire team meet in there. We do all our training, our coaching, our education. The biggest audience we've ever had in Verbella, which was our old system, our new system is called exp.world. It's literally a web link. It's not a big downloadable app. And you can go into those worlds. The biggest audience we've had in the world was 22,000 people attending one particular session. All right. Wow. Now, you won't find that on a Zoom call. You won't find that on a Google Meets call. Okay. But you will find it in our virtual world that we operate in. And again, I do want to reiterate, you've got the best agents in America doing training. You've got the best agents in the UK and Australia, New Zealand, in the 24 countries where we're operating, 89,000 agents across the globe that are willing to share their ideas and the manner in which they operate and give real good nuggets of information to make sure that the training experience within eXp is just absolutely world class. We run a ticketing system for transactions. So we know exactly where every single transaction is at any particular time, and every single transactional specialist has the ability to understand where each transaction is at any particular time. So you could go into our offices, draw a ticket in a virtual world, go to a table, sit in a private cubicle, and a avatar transactional specialist will arrive in front of you and deal with your query immediately, not having to pick up the phone or not having to email or whatever the case might be, and get a result for you far quicker. And I think that results in agents being paid on time and accurately. And I think what it also results in is agents being happy that our sort of criteria in terms of payment terms is you get paid within 48 hours of the money landing in our bank account. And that is what we stick to. All right. And I say it again, and I see you smiling. You know what I'm going to say. A happy agent attracts another happy agent. And that's all we want, 100%.
Awesome. Well, it's actually a wonderful story. I must say that we can actually see that the metaverse is practically workable, and it's working for your agents. And you, of course, are joining us for our RE Tech conference, which is on the 19th of July in Sainton Convention Center. And you are obviously one of our panels. And I think that's one of the things you've got to share, because, you know, that's a critically sort of a case study of something that really works really well. Because I was going to actually ask you, well, give us a case study. Well, maybe give us a case study of one of your clients, you know, in terms of what worked, what success story can you tell working with ESP? For example, you know, how did your services help them achieve their objectives? Have you got something like that you can maybe share?
You know, Neil, Mark Holder up in Johannesburg, you know, if we had a system in South Africa where we could do electronic signatures, we would not need to visit a property. Okay, we would not have to go into a property, but with Matterport videos, with our virtual world, with bond origination documents, whether it's from Multinet Home Loans, the companies that we prefer working with, you can do a bond document up on the wall of your office. Okay, that's how easy it is to do. You can have seller, buyer, attorney interactions within that environment. Signed documentation subject to viewing, okay, within our virtual office environment. And the likes of Mark Holder and the team that have certainly embraced this virtual environment have the ability to do that. Now, let's say he had 10 viewings of a property, of the same property, going backwards and forwards there 10 times. How much time does that take? How much effort does that take? And how much interaction does that take, where he could just simply bring people into his office environment, show them the crack in the wall or the swimming pool that's leaking, whatever the case might be, show all the defects or the positives within that property, whatever the case might be, but have the ability to sign documentation subject to a physical viewing. And in some cases, that hasn't even taken place. They've bought in the virtual world directly from our agents. Quite amazing.
Absolutely. Well, wonderful. Lovely story. And then the last question, Andrew, maybe it's more sort of an advice question to people buying property and investors and homeowners who are navigating the South African real estate market today. What advice would you give them? I mean, the market seems to be, and definitely the narrative is that it's turning, and it's going to definitely turn on. And we know the big elephant in the room is obviously interest rates. You know, once interest rates start dropping, which I'm confident it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And if that happens, I think we can start seeing pretty much a boom market. I mean, that's my opinion. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
You know, Neil, you probably know the stats better than I do, but we're seeing South Africans return to South Africa. That immediately is a good signal. Okay. We're starting to see with a good Minister of Tourism, okay, should that happen, we'll start seeing international tourists start flowing into South Africa. Okay. And those two signals for me are absolutely key, because a tourist that comes in and has a really good experience normally ends up investing in that area. If they go into a restaurant and they're treated well, if they have a good stay down in the Sea Point area down in Cape Town, they're going to stay in Camps Bay, they're going to buy a property in Sea Point, Green Point, around the stadiums, whatever it might be. Okay, so really my philosophy is around, number one, travel. Number two is around tourism. Number three, if I would be moving to places that are showing genuine care for people from a safety and security point of view, patrolling, policing, visibility of people, security companies getting involved, etc. So safety and security is first and foremost for a move to any good environment across South Africa. And then what's really key, and I think you've seen a shift into more sort of gated communities, and that's my experience where I've sort of come from. And the reason why I do say that is you are guaranteed an element of future infrastructure that is retained within the environment that you're operating in. So for me, good investments are in areas where there will be infrastructure improvements, where road, rail, ports, electricity, water, sewage, and all those areas are working. And I think this government of national unity, not that I want to get into politics, I think if it is managed well over the next 5 years, and it's managed in a way where it's about business, it's about creating this country and making sure that the money that is spent is put into the right areas, and that our infrastructure is fixed to a reasonable extent, then once again, South Africans are going to be returning. International tourists are going to be coming back. There's going to be pressure from the base up in terms of from affordable homes into your top end homes. And when there's a pressure from the base up and there's that international travel taking place, there's going to be big demand for property going forward. So I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about the balance of this year. And I really believe that we are on a good path over the next 5 years. And I really believe the real estate industry, with help from the PPRA, okay, making the right decisions in terms of where we're going in the future, I think is absolutely critical. We've got to release our real estate agents to go out and do what they really do well, and that is sell property and earn commissions.
Awesome. Andrew Thompson, the head broker of eXp Realty South Africa, thank you for sharing your insights. And for those interested in learning more about eXp South Africa or contacting them directly, how do they reach out to you, Andrew?
Yeah, so, you know, I'm available on www.expsouthafrica.co.za. My office number, my direct number in terms of office is 087-821-2535. I'll repeat it, 087-821-2535. And then on my email, andrew.thompson, THOMPSON, @exprealty.net. And if you're ever in the Mhlanga area and you see a short wheelbase Jeep Wrangler with eXp Realty on the side, that is me. There you go.
Wonderful chatting to you, Andrew. And as usual, so thank you very much. And so I think you've got that. You've got those details. We'll actually publish this as an attachment to this particular interview. Great chatting to you, Andrew, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon in the future. We're going to certainly see you at the RE Tech event in Johannesburg on the 19th of July. So we look forward to your participation there. Thank you very much once again, Andrew. And it's Neil Peterson from REI signing out. Cool. Awesome.